For more on that story, we now go to our London correspondent, Jonathan Sacerdoti. Jonathan, thanks so much for being with us. What is the latest that we're hearing in the rescue attempts to get these civilians out of this building?
Well, the fire has been raging for some time in that tower block, a 20-story tower called Grenfell Tower in West Kensington, near the very large Westfield shopping mall. So far, we've only got those two reports from the emergency services of people suffering from smoke inhalation. But of course, it seems very likely that many more people were in that building. 200 firefighters initially were rushed to the scene in 40 different fire engines, with eyewitnesses reporting people screaming for help as that fire took hold, spreading very quickly from the lower floors, possibly the second or fourth floor we're hearing, all the way up to the top of the building. Those images, of course, very striking, seeing the entire building engulfed in flames.
As you mentioned those images, Jonathan, we're seeing them live now, what the building looks like now. I think the question on everyone's mind is, what about the residents who may have been deep in their sleep when this fire broke out?
Yes, indeed. Well, police were originally called to the Lancaster West estate, where this is, at 1:16 a.m. local time, which is now a couple of hours ago, and residents were evacuated from the building, we were told, but it's not yet clear whether all of them will have been saved, how many people will have been evacuated, and how many were left stuck in the building. Some witnesses have said they heard people caught in the building. Some reported seeing people on higher up floors using lights, possibly from their mobile phones, to indicate their presence, which would mean that they may have been stuck there. The police and emergency services and firefighters telling residents in the building who were trapped to use wet rags or towels to cover their nose and mouth to try to stop smoke inhalation.
Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for those updates. Obviously, a devastating situation. We'll be back with you later. For more on that story, we now go to our London correspondent, Jonathan Sacerdoti. Jonathan, what's the latest we're hearing in these attempts to rescue residents from the building?
The question of who exactly managed to get out of the building and who maybe did not is one that's still live. What we do know is that many people in the building are said to have been awake, even though it was very early in the morning. That's because there may have been a lot of people in the building who are Muslim and were observing Ramadan and thus were awake in order to break their fast, which could have saved many lives as they would have been more aware of what was going on around them. We have heard stories of people from eyewitnesses who were stuck in the building and that the police had been telling people not to wait to be evacuated but to get out themselves as soon as they could. One man, an eyewitness, has been saying that he believed it was his neighbor, his nearby neighbor in the building, whose flat might have been the source of the fire. Didn't explain exactly why, but certainly we know that the fire started apparently on the second floor of the building and then made its way through the entire building, through both sides of the building, originally being seen on one side and then gradually to the 27th floor at the top. So the Grenfell Tower, which is on the Lancaster West estate, has been now engulfed in flames for some hours, with 40 fire engines and 200 firefighters attending the scene. We've also heard from the Metropolitan Police that they were still evacuating the building as recently as half an hour ago, after initial reports that 2 people were treated for smoke inhalation on the scene. Now seems very likely that many more people will have been injured in this incident, and there have been ambulance service obviously attending as well.
Now, we've also seen London Mayor Sadiq Khan tweeting that this is a major incident. As you said, a major high-rise that's on fire, but has there also been concern that this fire could spread to neighboring buildings?
Obviously, there could be concern that the fire could spread to neighboring buildings, and also that the building, which is now severely damaged and burnt through, could be at risk of falling down, which means that police have been gradually moving the cordon around the building further and further away from it, trying to evacuate people and keep people away from the building, not just out of it, but some distance away from it, so that should there be some further damage, should the building maybe collapse, there would be less injury in the surrounding area.
Certainly. Thank you again, Jonathan, for those updates. Again, Jonathan Sacerdoti live from London.